Here at home, 16-6 on the road. And the last meeting between these two teams, Jamie Moyer was on the hill, and he was rather effective again against the Fish.
He pitched well. He got in a couple of jams and got out of it, and the Phillies blew that game open late. In fact, it got so bad that Cody Ross came in to pitch in that game, one of their outfielders. And Jamie worked out of one or two jams and did what he does against the Marlins. Just mixed them up, changed speed, and got them out.
So he'll go to work to start things off against Chris Coughlin, who's the rookie for the Florida Marlins. And he starts him off with something slow, and we're underway, and the count is 0-1.
There's fresh meat for him. On the other hand, Coughlin's been hearing a lot about Jamie Moyer.
Coughlin hitting 191 so far in his first month of the big leagues with a home run and 5 RBIs.
The kid from Pinellas County, grew up in Palm Harbor and went to East Lake High School up in that area. Palm Harbor, where Innisbrook Golf Club is, and an area right near Clearwater.
He came up through the minor leagues as a second baseman and a third baseman, but he's playing left field because the Marlins want to get his bat in the lineup.
Well, Cameron Maben isn't here, and that's another whole story, because they had really counted on him taking over as their everyday center fielder and giving them a real good everyday player, and it hasn't worked out.
See Coughlin's numbers at AAA, the 1-2. Line drive toward right field. Worth didn't read it properly, but he's there, and there's one away.
Well, Bonifacio is not leading off because he's really been struggling. He's one of the guys that got them off to that 11-1 start as Coughlin hit that changeup off the end of the bat. And, you know, they're scrambling right now to try and make some things work in their lineup.
Jeremy Hermida has his batting average up to 271 thanks to a 6-game hitting streak. Hermida in that normal number 2 spot. He's basically been the number 2 hitter for the last couple of years for Florida. And like a lot of the Marlins hitters, he has struggled against Jamie Moyer during his career. He is 3 for 16 against Jamie, but he does have him in his book. He's got 1 home run.
Well, the more aggressive a team is against Jamie Moyer, the more success he has. He feeds off anxious hitters.
And the Marlins, because they are so youthful, they're anxious hitters. Well, the umpires for tonight's ball game, Marvin Hudson has the plate tonight. The crew chief, John Hirschbeck, is at first. Wally Bell is at second, and Marty Foster is around at third. 1-2 the count to Hermida. Got it in on his hands, and he pulls it foul. And Ryan Howard will make a fan happy. Two and 2 the count. Jamie, you saw the numbers, a 2.84 ERA in 13 games against the Marlins, but since his last outing against Florida, he has been roughed up. He's allowed 22 earned runs in his last 18 1/3 innings. That's an ERA of over 10.
Everything is into Hermida, too. Fastballs and changeups. He's not throwing it. Now he's going away.
Goes away, and Hermida's got a base hit right past the second base umpire, Wally Bell.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good idea after all that stuff in, maybe go away, but he didn't get it far enough away, and Hermida got a base hit.
During the 2009 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. And so far, the Phillies have paid some dividends with 24 wins and 18 losses. Hermida being held on by Ryan Howard. And here's Hanley Ramirez. He's riding a 4-game hitting streak. He's batting .319 overall with 8 homers and 22 RBIs.
Well, this is still the star in their lineup, Hanley Ramirez. There's nothing this guy can't do. It's just that he doesn't seem to do it consistently enough for a guy with his tools.
Great numbers against Moyer. In fact, he has the best numbers of anybody in this lineup against Jamie Moyer. But he's coming off a horrific homestand. And he chops one toward the left side. Rollins has it, has the play at second. That's all they'll get, but they get the lead runner, and they're 2 away.
Chase Utley got that leg up in the air because Hermida really had him lined up. The ball's not hit. I thought Chase was just going to take it like a first baseman, tag second, get out of there. But he thought he had a shot at Hanley Ramirez, and he almost got blown up.
Saw this past weekend in that Tampa Bay, Florida series where Chris Coughlin went in hard against Akinori Iwamura for the Tampa Bay Rays and knocked him out of the ball game. 2 away, runner on first, and here's Jorge Cantu.
We've seen a lot of him over the last few years, and he can really hit fastballs.
Yeah, they say he's really struggling with that same sore wrist that he had when we were down in South Florida earlier this season. Moyer working away from him on that first pitch.
That's a tough injury to heal when you keep playing.
He still has had a good start to the year, 8 home runs and 35 RBIs. They say the problem is that they don't have anybody else that can take his place over at first base on an everyday basis, so he can't get any rest. As you see there, he has really thrived against the Phillies. 8 home runs and 21 RBIs. Off the end of the bat, over the glove of Jimmy Rollins into left field. And that's the second hit of the inning for the Marlins, and they've got runners on first and second. So Cantu has his 7th hit against Moyer, and this one was just out of Jimmy's reach.
Jimmy needed to be as tall as Hanley Ramirez to catch that, but there's some ups. He really went way up in the air. He was talking to the president last week about playing him in basketball. President Obama said, "I got a foot on you." He says, "Yeah, but I'm a lot quicker than you."
He probably is a lot quicker.
Well, right there, he looked like he could jump pretty high.
Wes Helms was just greeted by a sea of boos from the fans here at Citizens Bank Park.
Some never forget.
Hitting .212, no homers and 6 RBIs. He struggled in his 1 year with the Phillies. He swings and foul tips the 1-0 pitch into the glove of Ruiz. It's 1-1.
Does seem to get some playing time for the Marlins when either Hamels or Moyer pitches.
There's his numbers with the Phillies in 117 games. Excuse me, hit .246. 2-1 the count to him. See the cap the Phillies are wearing tonight. That is in honor of the holidays throughout the summer, Memorial Day, 4th of July weekend, and also September 11th. Major League Baseball teams will wear those hats. They're made by New Era. They're to show support for the Welcome Back Veterans Foundation. And the sale of those caps throughout Major League Baseball, proceeds from the sales will go to the Welcome Back Veterans Fund and the foundation itself. Runners go. 3-1. Hit sharply at short. Ooh, tough hop for Rollins. And they still get Wes Helms. How about that? Stay with it, folks. Jimmy Rollins showing off a big league arm to get the final out here at the top of the first inning. Good defense again for the Phillies as Jimmy Rollins catches his breath and then catches Wes Helms to finish off the inning. heading into the ballpark to enjoy this ball game. It's Dollar Dog Night, brought to you by Hatfield Phillies Franks here at the ballpark. So grill them up, because they are going to be consumed throughout this ball game. That's a lot of dogs right there.
Yeah, you're right. They'll go. There'll be history before the night's over.
Phillies lineup brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. He just made a fine throw to get Wes Helms. Chase Utley, the second baseman, bats second. Raul Ibanez, the left fielder, hits third. Ryan Howard, the first baseman, bats cleanup, followed by the number 5 hitter, Jason Worth. Shane Victorino, the center fielder, hits sixth. Pedro Feliz bats seventh. He's over at third base. Carlos Ruiz, coming off a pretty good road trip, he'll bat eighth, and batting ninth and pitching is left-hander Jamie Moyer. And they'll face 6'8" Chris Volstad for the Florida Marlins.
This guy's a good young pitcher. You see the numbers on him, and you're getting your hands full when you face this guy.
He has appeared in 4 games against the Phillies, and he's done a pretty good job against the Phillies. 1-1 with a 2.14 ERA.
Another native Floridian. He's from West Palm Beach Gardens on the East Coast. There's a scouting report on him. That's a good fastball and a sinker, curveball, changeup, and he is a ground ball pitcher, former #1 pick, 16th overall in June of 2005.
And he's ahead of Jimmy, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They have 2 of the best young pitchers in the league, and Josh Johnson and this kid.
But beyond that, their rotation is really struggling.
Well, Nolasco is a story there. Who could believe that Ricky Nolasco would wind up in the minor leagues after the way he looked last year and early this season?
So Volstad and Josh Johnson are basically the foundation for the starting rotation right now. 1-2 to Jimmy, softly to the right side. Cantu makes a fine play, but it's off the glove of Volstad. Look at Jimmy, he's going to try for second. Paulino's throw, and he throws a strike, and Jimmy's out, trying to stretch that misplay into an extra base.
Yeah, that's surprising, Jimmy. You know, the catcher's going to trail that play, and I guess he lost sight of where the catcher was, where Paulino was, because Ronnie Paulino was right where you're supposed to be. See what they score this. It's a nice play by Cantu. He throws it a little bit behind Johnson, who has to reach at the same time he's looking for the bag, and then you see Jimmy right there. He loses track of where Ronnie Paulino is, and he tries to go, and all Paulino has to do is get it there, and he's a dead duck.
So Jimmy's retired, trying to be a little extra aggressive here in the bottom of the first inning. And here's Chase Utley. Utley takes one on the outside corner. It's 0-1. They do charge an error to Chris Volstad. And then the putout goes 2-6 at second base. Chase coming off a very good road trip. He had 367 on the road trip. He's behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
See that catcher run down the line with every ground ball. Run down the line. Routine ground ball. And there's a place for every player on every play. And that's what the catcher's supposed to do. And Ronnie Paulino did a nice job of backing that play up.
And he barehanded that ball, too.
You know, the infield instructor for the Phillies right now is Sam Perlazzo. But every infielder knows what his play is. Like the first baseman backs up the plays that go to the outfield. You see the throws come in, they get by an infielder, and the first baseman trails it. Pete McCannon's doing a good job as a bench coach for Charlie.
0-2 on the hands. Utley hustling all the way, and he's just retired by Hanley Ramirez.
You see Volstad throwing his ground balls.
Well, Sam Palazzo in his first year with the Phillies, I think he's done an incredible job over at third base as the third base coach. And he's also done an amazing job with Ryan Howard, helping Howard to have the season he's had defensively. And I asked Charlie about Pete McCannon the other day. And you know, Charlie likes Pete because he said he can just talk baseball with him, and he's not a yes man. And if Charlie has an opinion, he'll tell Pete McCannon what that opinion is, but he doesn't want Pete to always agree with him.
Right.
And that's the job of a bench coach, is to not be a yes man, is to, you know, give his thoughts even if it's against the manager.
Well, they brought in 2 very experienced baseball guys to add to the staff this year. And they lost, you know, Jimmy Williams, who was a great baseball guy, Steve Smith, who had been in the game a long time, and they replaced him with 2 really good coaches.
1-1 the count to Raul Ibanez. Ibanez leading the league in home runs and RBIs and is third in batting average.
Got his Player of the Week honors before the game, presented by hitting coach Milt Thompson.
What a great response by the fans when he was introduced before the ball game. And he's ahead 3 balls and 1 strike. Freddie Gonzalez, the manager of the Florida Marlins. His pitching coach Mark Wiley is the gentleman with the glasses there. Ball 4. Ibanez is aboard, and the Phillies have a base runner.
Olstad in his last outing in 6 innings walked 1, struck out 9. He is not a guy that has a lot of control problems.
Well, here's Raul Ibanez being honored before the ball game with his National League Player of the Week award, and the ovation was so loud. Standing ovation on the right side and left side, and Milt Thompson presented him with his award. He's had that award before, but it's his first one in a Phillies uniform. So he'll take his lead off first. Here's Ryan Howard. Ryan hit 4 home runs on the road trip, had 7 RBIs. And he hits one in the air, straight away center field. Forget about that one. Gone off the brick wall. Oh, what a titanic shot by Ryan Howard. A line drive, and the Phillies lead it 2-0. Well, he guessed right. Whatever he was guessing, he guessed right.
He got a fastball. I was just going to say after the first pitch that those outfielders are so deep that if they hit one over his head, it's going to be a home run. And watch Volstead right here. He knows he threw a fastball down the middle and he's got no chance. Look where Cody Ross was when the ball was hit. He didn't have to go very far. I mean, they were so deep. It looked like the 9th inning. And they're way out there again.
That ball shot off the top of the wall, the top of the batter's eye, and straight away center field, and came back with such speed that it came right back onto the field.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to go over. He's hit 2 of them over that batting eye in center field, and that looked like it was going to be the 3rd.
1-1 the count to Jason Worth. The Phillies leading it 2-0. And it's 1-2 now to Jason. See Jason's numbers on the year. 262 with 8 home runs and 26 RBIs.
Amazing how high Ryan Howard hits a baseball. That thing was majestic.
Roller to shortstop, and the inning is over, but the damage is done. Ryan Howard with a 2-run bomb, his 11th of the year, and the Phillies lead it 2-0 going into the 2nd. 2-run home run for Ryan Howard in the number 4 spot. And the Phillies lead at 2-zip going into the top of the 2nd inning. And it'll be Dan Uggla, Cody Ross, and Ronnie Paulino for the Florida Marlins.
Place is still buzzing after that bomb. Oof.
Well, Ryan has hit 2 over that wall during his career, and that one was awfully close to being the 3rd.
Yeah, one was off a right-hander with the Marlins. I can't think who it was. I want to say Anibal Sanchez, but it wasn't.
2-0 to Uggla, fouled back. It's 2-1.
It's starting to look really pretty out there with that
sure
ivy.
Is. And the ball hit right on the edge of the ivy wheels, just about
right up in there. It looked like, as you said, it came straight back like that.
Cody Ross, for some reason, was trying to climb the fence. I don't know if he was trying to get a better view of it or not. Dan Uggla sends one to the air deep to left field. Ibanez is back. He has room. One away.
Cody Ross looked like that great shot of Mike Shannon in the '64 World Series when Mantle went in the upper deck and he leaped for it. It was a high sinker.
And that home run by Ryan Howard has won Wayne Still of Middletown, Delaware, $200 in our Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot. Introducing McCafe coffees at McDonald's, a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos. So congratulations, Wayne. We didn't even get the promo out. That's how quickly Ryan Howard hit that home run. Here's Cody Ross. Ross hitting .239, 6 homers, 26 RBIs. And the count, no balls and 1 strike to him. Jamie was scheduled to pitch this past Sunday for the Phillies, but they bumped him to today to give him an extra day and keep Cole Hamels on his normal day of rest, and also to give Jamie a chance to pitch again against the Florida Marlins.
Yeah, it was a great job by Rich Doobie and Charlie Manuel to do that. It worked out yesterday. Cole pitched very well against the Yankees up there, and Jamie Moyer normally pitches well against Florida.
1-2 the count to Cody Ross. And he's out in front. Oh, boy, that's another tough hop for Jimmy Rollins. 2 away.
What's going on out there in that infield?
Jimmy's going to take a rake out there himself. Well, tomorrow the Phillies and the Marlins will get together for Game 2 of this series, and it's the only game of the 2 left that there are tickets still available. So we invite you to purchase your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Also, we want you to help support the Inquirer 180 food drive. Fans are encouraged to bring along non-perishable food items for donation at the gates. And all fans will receive, in celebration of the Inquirer's upcoming 180th anniversary, a Inquirer newsprint collectible featuring the 1980 and 2008 World Champions newspaper covers. Ronnie Paulino swings at the first pitch. And Pedro Feliz throws him out, and Jamie Moyer having a quick inning here at the top of the 2nd. He's retired 4 straight. Couple of ground ball outs. That's right. World Series champions. A sellout here at Citizens Bank Park at a 2-0 lead. Clubhouse. Get the highlights from the Phillies' visit to the White House. Chat with former Phillies manager Larry Bowa and learn defensive fundamentals with Sam Perlazzo. This week on Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Cherry Hill Toyota Scion. Tuesday at 4:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Last of the second inning, the Phillies lead it 2-0. A 2-run home run by Ryan Howard, his 11th of the year. It's like having a leadoff hitter start the second because Shane Victorino will lead it off.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Charlie likes the way this lineup's worked out, because Victorino down in the 6th hole gives him a switch hitter with speed. As you say, Tom, it's like bringing another leadoff hitter up.
And you see Shane riding a 7-game hitting streak, overall hitting .269. And Helms plays in at third, just in case Shane decides to lay down a bunt.
That's such an advantage for a hitter, too. He has all that room to slap a ball by a third baseman in like that.
And there are not a lot of teams that play the third baseman in that close against Shane.
No, and you know, he does bunt once in a while. Now he backed up.
2-1 the count.
They gave him 2 strikes or 2 pitches, and he showed no signs, so Helms backed up.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants have defeated the Braves 8-2. Victorino lines one into the seats foul.
And Ishikawa hit his first home run there. Seen him a few games on TV. He's really a good first baseman.
He had 4 hits. He was a last-minute addition to that lineup. On the inside corner, and Shane is called out on strikes.
He'll run that fastball at the left-handed hitter back over the plate, and that appeared to be one of them.
First strikeout for Volstad. Victorino's at bat is over with.
See if he starts it at him. Yeah, you see how he starts it at him and then it tails back over the plate. Volstad will do that with right-handed hitters too and freeze them.
Here's Pedro Feliz, who backs off a breaking ball, and the count 0-1. Pedro's average has dropped under 300. Boy, he played some good defense on that road trip, didn't he?
Outstanding. He never gives up his defense. There's no doubt about it. There's Volstad, a good-looking young right-handed pitcher. Pedro always takes that glove out there, even when he struggles offensively.
It's that one sharply to the gap in right center field, and that's going to be in for a base hit. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Feliz heading to second. He'll stop there. It's a 1-out double. And for Pedro, his 11th 2-base hit of the year.
Kind of surprised as deep as they were playing in the outfield that angle didn't get cut off by Cody Ross. But you know, they've done a lot of shifting around. Maben was a center fielder out there who was really athletic. Ross is more of a corner outfielder as that pitch was up. And he can't quite cut the angle off. And it turns into a double.
What a reaction for Carlos Ruiz at his first at-bat since the weekend series against the Yankees. He played such a prominent role in the 2 wins the Phillies had against the Yankees. And not only that, he's raised his batting average up over 300 as Ronnie Paulino is going to go out to the mound to talk to Chris Volstad.
Not that long ago, Tom, you kept giving the stats that Phillies catchers had no RBIs.
No RBIs, and Ruiz before the road trip had no runs scored.
Right.
You know, now he has just 3, but at least he's on the board.
It got a little scary on Friday night too, because it looked like he had tweaked that oblique again.
Amazing that in last night's game in that 11th inning, Charlie Manuel said after the ball game that he even thought about pinch hitting for Carlos Ruiz.
He's just too hot. He just had a feeling, you know, as well as the way he was swinging the bat, that he wanted to go with him in that spot, and he rewarded him. It's hard to get a pinch hit. And you know, you're dealing with a guy that had all those at bats during the game and was still hot and swinging the bat well. And the managers a lot of times want to stay with that guy.
Well, before the ball game today, Charlie's conversations were about Clay Condrey, who got the win, Carlos Ruiz, who had the big base hit, and also about the fact that the starters have put together 3 solid starts this past weekend.
And he was really happy too, talking on his pregame radio show about the lack of walks.
Feliz takes his lead off second base. And 2-0 is pulled to the left side, so Pedro's got to scamper back to second. 2 away. And Volstad now has to deal with Jamie Moyer. Jamie 1 for 10 so far this year. Does have a couple RBIs. In fact, he was on base 4 times in his last start against the Florida Marlins. That was the day he got hit by a pitch for the first time in his career.
Is that right? The first time?
First time.
You know, John Kruk went through that when he was here in Philadelphia after all those years in San Diego. There, he had never been hit by a pitch, and he finally got nailed one day.
I guess that's why he looked so uncomfortable in that All-Star game against Randy Johnson.
Yeah, that's still a classic. On the suite level, they have a souvenir, I guess, or did it bounce out?
I think he dropped it.
Oh, gee.
And they let him hear it a little bit, too. Had a lot of folks around him that wanted to help out.
Just lost his booing privileges.
How long does that last, Wheels? 5, 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's about it.
Outside, ball 3.
Jamie is amazing how many times. See, 5 walks this year. He just doesn't swing at bad pitches.
Good hitters count for him here.
He's looking to pull, even though they have him defense the other way.
Lays off, ball 4, 6th walk of the year for Jamie Moyer. And as spry as a 12-year-old, he gets down to the first base bag.
One sacrifice fly, 1 hit by pitch, 6 walks.
And that's going to have Mark Wiley head out to the mound for the Florida Marlins. Well, the Phillies wound up the first session of interleague play against the Yankees this past weekend, and they'll return home the weekend before the series against the Toronto Blue Jays to take on the Red Sox. That series just about sold out, but the Blue Jays series still has some seats available Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 2 7:05 and a 1:05 Citizens Bank Business Person Special. By the way, the 17th is a salute to Jackie Robinson and also the Faith and Family Celebration. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. The Jays have hit some rough times. They have lost 7 straight, and the Boston Red Sox now lead the American League East.
Yeah, they went down again today to Baltimore against Toronto, and Boston won their game, hung on to win 6-5, and the Yankees smoked Texas. So the Toronto Blue Jays are starting to fall back.
Runners on first and second with 2 away for Rollins. J-Roll was retired his first time up when he got a little greedy on a ground ball to the right side. The throw from Cantu eluded Volstad, and Jimmy was safe at first, but then tried for second, but Ronnie Paulino threw him out. So he's 0 for 1. Jimmy had a solid road trip. He had 333. He began the trip with a 200 batting average, and it ended at 233. That's pretty good. A month and a half into the season that you can raise your batting average 33 points.
Yeah, you have to start to pile up a couple multi-hit games to do that.
Not where Jimmy would like it, but closer. Uggla's got it, and the inning is over. So the Phillies threaten here in the bottom of the second. They do not score. They strand a couple. We played 2 here at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies lead it 2-0. Please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, who was the Marlins' first player ever? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Now that's a tough one.
Yeah,
unless you're a Marlins fan.
Yeah, first player they took in the expansion, huh?
Well, I don't know if it was the first player they took in the expansion. Right. They could have signed somebody before.
Yeah, they could have. That's true.
Who was it for the Rockies? Was it Dave Need? Was the first guy that the Rockies took?
Yeah, he was an Atlanta guy.
Right.
David Need, a right-handed pitcher.
Top of the 3rd inning. And Jamie Moyer working with a 2-0 lead. He'll face the opposing pitcher, Chris Volstad. Volstad hitting under 100 for the season. He is a big kid, 6'8".
Yeah. They got some big pitchers. What about the guy tomorrow night?
Yeah, Andrew Miller. He's bigger than Volstad is.
Josh Johnson, he's a midget of the group.
Johnson's 6'7".
Yeah. This one's 6'8". And what's Miller, 6'10"?
And Sean West is 6'8". He's another one of their pitchers. Former #1 pick.
And they draft basketball players.
I just hope they could throw strikes. And Freddie Gonzalez has seen some of his young pitchers do just that, throw strikes. Others have had trouble with it. 1-2 the count to Volstad. Freddie took over for Joe Girardi. This is his 2nd season with the Florida Marlins. Soft roller towards shortstop, and Jimmy's got it. 1 away.
Finally got a smooth hop out there.
Got to cut it off. I said it's his 2nd season. It's his 3rd season. 175 wins, 193 losses. He did a nice job with them last year.
Well, they got off to what, 11-1 start. Phillies helped cool them off. The Phillies were part of the group that put them in a funk. They went to Pittsburgh and started. They went to Pittsburgh, got swept, then went home. The Phillies swept them, and then they kept losing. And they haven't been the same since. But they jumped out 11-1. They beat Washington a bunch of games, but they still played really well for a while.
Yeah, they were 11-1 at one point, and they are 9-24 since winning their 11th game. Nice play by Utley to get it, set his feet. 2 away.
Good job of reading it, too, by Ryan Howard. Not to have to make Jamie Moyer make that, because it's a really tough play, 4-1. Ryan started to go for that ball, threw on the brakes, and was under control getting back to the bag, and then Chase Utley just led him to it. But you try to make that play, second baseman leading the pitcher from that distance, it's really tough. Watch Ryan Howard as he starts to go, and right there he throws on the brakes. He knows Utley is there, and then Chase leads him to the bag, and they get him.
2 outs for Hermida, who singled his first time up. He's 1 for 1. Marlins do have a couple hits in tonight's ball game. Hermida now has hit 7 consecutive games thanks to that base hit. Oh, look out. A 1-hopper into the crowd. It was last year against Jamie Moyer that Jeremy Hermida hit a line drive past Andy Fox, just like he did there, the first base coach, and into the seats. And he hurt a youngster who fortunately was fine several months later. You know, both got a chance to meet that youngster at the next time the Marlins came into town in 2008.
Well, he just stays in there. Every pitch is in on Hermida, with the exception of the base hit on the 3-2 away. Now here they go. They're going right back in there again.
Lays off, and it just misses.
See if they decide to go away again. Nope, they're coming back inside. To a 2-2 change up there. Fastball in. No, now it looks like maybe they're thinking about going away, and this is where Hermida got the base hit last time on a 3-2 count.
Some extra hand singles for Jamie Moyer. One hopper at Ryan Howard. He's got it. Jamie Moyer at the bag, and the inning is over. Fine play all the way around. 3-1 goes the putout. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Jamie Moyer. Sold out crowd loves it. They also love that Chase Utley leads it off in the 3rd. by AT&T, your world delivered. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. Beautiful night here at Citizens Bank Park. A gorgeous night out in Ashburn Alley. Get some Chickies and Pete's crab fries. Best in the business right there. And it's a sold-out crowd. Comfortable night. It's going to cool off tomorrow, but still there are tickets still available for tomorrow's ball game against these Florida Marlins. And you can log on to Phillies.com to purchase those tickets. Chase Utley leads it off here in the third. Chase is retired by Hanley Ramirez his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Chase carried an 0 for 18 into the road trip. It began here at home, and then it continued against the Washington Nationals.
Well, the Phillies in their last homestand just did not hit and lost 4 out of 6.
Well, Chase, though, after going 0 for 18, went 11 for his last 30 on the trip. It was a pretty good run. And there's one away. So he's retired, and here's Raul.
He was very patient in the first inning, waited out a walk, and then Ryan Howard blasted a first pitch high sinker off the bricks in center field. That's your ball game, 2-0.
You know, Banez during this offseason was rumored to be going to a number of different teams. Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Phillies, of course, which is where he wound up. And after this weekend series in New York, a lot of the fans, as you were leaving the ballpark yesterday, were talking about Banez amongst each other, saying, how did we let that guy go? How did we not sign him? And I think a lot of folks around the league felt the same way.
Well, the Phillies were the team willing to give him that third year, too. You know, a lot of teams didn't want to give him the third year because of his age.
Kind of forget about his age, though, after the start he's had. Well, speaking of those Dodgers, Wheels, on the Toyota Major League scoreboard, they have defeated the Rockies 16-6 thanks to an 8-run 7th inning. And a breaking ball, and Banez is down looking.
Well, he has such a good curveball as Chris Volstad. And that's what he dropped on him right there. Curveball and a hard sinking fastball, and that's why he's such a good young pitcher. Well, nothing you can do about this. That's a knee locker. See his knees? And as a hitter, all he can do is hope it's not a strike, and it was. You see him just kind of raise his eyes like, ooh, what am I going to do with that thing?
I haven't seen too many of those curves tonight from Volstad.
That was a good one.
Ryan Howard homered his first time up off the brick wall in center field. And our Firestone leaders, Ryan Howard with 23 home runs since 2007. In the month of May, Dan Uggla is right behind him with 22. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. There is Dan Uggla, who's 2 away from 100 home runs for his career.
The hottest team in baseball. Unlikely team. The San Diego Padres came from behind to beat Arizona today. I think it was in extra innings, and they've won 10 in a row.
They scored some runs today too.
Yeah, I believe they were losing 7-1 in that game. Won 9-7 in 10 innings. They won 9 straight at home. They swept their homestand. Went into Arizona today. Won the first game on the road trip. Phillies are going to be out there this time next week. Face them.
Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, here's Ryan Howard's first inning home run, and it was a bomb.
First pitch sinker up. See Volstad, you want to watch it. Way up on the top of that wall in center field.
Fouls that one off, and the count remains 2-2.
He's seeing a lot of curveballs in this at bat.
Yeah, he ain't seeing no fastballs at all. He's seeing just all junk.
How deep they. That looks like the 9th inning and trying to prevent an extra base hit.
Into the air down the left field line. It's got the distance, but it's going to slice foul. He must have made some adjustments today in batting practice.
Well, he got a fastball there. He was a little late on it, I think, because all those hooks.
That right field porch at Yankee Stadium was calling Ryan Howard this past weekend, and he didn't get there. But he got to the brick wall tonight in center field to give the Phillies a 2-0 lead. Lays off, and it's 3-2.
He may have been trying too hard to hit that short porch.
Yeah, he could have been.
Because he could have hit home runs in that place by accident.
Jason Worth waits on deck. And you know he can hit home runs in that place by accident because Mark Teixeira did it yesterday with a broken bat.
That was bizarre. Barrel that bat flying down the third baseline like that.
And Ryan goes down on strikes. He got a little piece of that one, but it was hung on to by Ronnie Paulino. Second straight strikeout for Volstead. He retires the Phillies in order. We played 3 here at Citizens Bank Park. Three between the Phillies and the Marlins. Phillies have a 6-game homestand that they're just beginning tonight. Hanley Ramirez reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Gary Matthews joins us here at the top of the 4th inning. Sarge, happy Memorial Day.
Hey, same to you there, Tom.
Do any barbecuing today?
No, but I did have barbecue chicken. Like I've told you, can't go wrong with chicken. Okay? That's what you got to have on this kind of day. A little potato salad. Didn't have that, though.
3-0 the count to Hanley Ramirez. How about some French fries, huh?
These 2 hitters will be there. Oh, I'd love some French fries. But Ramirez and Cantu will be Jamie's probably toughest hitters. These guys are just good, solid hitters.
Ball 4, and Ramirez is aboard with a leadoff walk. That is the first walk issued by Jamie Moyer in tonight's ball game. And so far, Jamie, through the first 3 innings, Sarge has been locating, except for that at bat to Ramirez, pretty well.
Yeah, it has been getting ahead of the hitters. Getting ground balls is the key, and if he can get those balls on the corner, he should be fine.
Well, now he'll face Jorge Cantu, who singled his first time up. The first inning was the roughest inning for Jamie. Since that first, he had retired 7 straight before the walk to Hanley Ramirez. And he starts him off with 1 low, 1-0.
Yeah, Cantu has been their most consistent hitter this year. Hitting .300, can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and loves it against the Phillies.
Well, and we see Jamie here going for career win number 250 for another try. And, you know, it's been a rough road for him, but, you know, it seems like he has maintained a high level of confidence toward this rough stretch.
Well, he's the type of player, no excuses, whether or not he's doing good or bad. And if he's doing bad, he'll try and fix it. And this is what he's trying to do. He has a lot of pride when he goes out on the mound.
Yeah, and he felt like last time out against the Cincinnati Reds, he did fix some things, and we'll see if it carries over in tonight's ball game. He has a 2-0 lead here in the top of the fourth. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike to Cantu.
Yeah, well, he needs those ground balls, not the line drives. Well, one of those ground balls or semi-line drive almost took J-Ro's chest off. Just nailed him, almost wasn't able to throw the ball.
That was the ball that Wes Helms hit in his first at bat. Three and 1 the count to Cantu.
Well, you can see him pitching a little more careful to Cantu and Ramirez. 35 ribbies.
Cantu's 35 RBIs lead the Florida Marlins as Ramirez takes his lead off first. Ball 4. He's walked the last 2 batters. Huh. Kind of interesting to watch this because he had pitched in such a great rhythm the last 2 innings.
Well, missing his spots again, trying to pitch a little more careful because these guys have home run power, obviously, but they're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes on them. Makes you a better hitter. J-Ro goes to the mound and trying to settle him down just a little.
Wes Helms hit that bullet off the chest of Jimmy Rollins his first time up. Jimmy was able to stay with it and throw him out at first base. So he bats here with runners on first and second and nobody out. A little low, and it's 1-0. And Carlos Ruiz out to the mound for a very, very quick conversation with Jamie.
Now, these are the type of clubs, though, you don't want to stay close. That's why you want to keep chipping away. Ballstead, however, he's the number 1 and the number 1 draft choice when he was drafted. See that just off the plate some, and again, he knows that he wants that ground ball, hoping that that hitter will offer at a ball that would be outside.
Marvin Hudson had to think about that one a little bit. It's 2-1.
Yeah, borderline low, but for a hitter, that's not one you want to swing at, but that's one that a pitcher wants to have, and Jamie got it.
There's Marvin calling the balls and strikes tonight. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2 walks that Jamie has allowed in this inning are the first walks that the starting pitching has allowed in the last 23 innings. In fact, over the weekend, the starters went 20 innings combined. Brett Myers, who was outstanding on Friday night, Jay Happ, who was up to the task on Saturday. There's Jay. And Cole Hamels, who pitched 6 solid innings yesterday. They combined for 20 innings, allowed 7 runs, struck out 14, didn't walk anybody.
Getting the job done, and that's where it starts, right there at the top. Get that pitcher to go 6-7 innings. You take a look at Big Joe Blanton.
And Joe goes tomorrow against Andrew Miller in game 2 of this series. Helms a little jumpy, lofts it foul into the seats down the right field line.
Yeah, those are the kind of swings you want the hitters to take. Take a look at Brett, too. What a great game he pitched at Yankee Stadium, setting the tone right away. Ball inside to, or I should say behind, Derek Jeter.
They're responding to Chase Utley being hit by a pitch by A.J. Burnett in the top of the first inning after Jimmy Rollins hit that leadoff home run.
Yeah, you get a lot of respect from your teammates when you're protecting each other that way. Just one of those unwritten rules in baseball.
Ooh, man.
Makeup call. You got to think this ball is just right there.
Oh, that's a strike. Oh boy, that's a strike.
So those are the pitches, though, Jamie has to have, and he'll come inside as a surprise.
Surprise the umpire on that one. 3-2, hit in the air, deep to left field. Ibanez is back, and the Marlins have the lead. Jamie thought he had him struck out. Marvin Hudson didn't call it. And Wes Helms comes back and hits a 3-run home run to give Florida a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, Helms' first home run this year. He hits a 3-run homer. Now, there's a difference where a pitcher is not, well, afraid again to come right back in because Jamie knows he doesn't have enough to get in. He threw the ball a little bit out over the plate, up a little bit, and Helms was up to the task.
13th home run that Jamie's allowed. That's a foul ball.
Now just check this pitch out there.
I don't know where that pitch was.
Yeah, you would think that it would have really crossed the plate, but you can see that pitch didn't get down. He tried to throw it softer.
0-2 the count to Ugla. Ugla lined out to Raul Ibanez his first time up, so he's 0 for 1.
Well, you can see what happens. A lot of times you fall back on these hitters, and Jamie has to stay ahead of the hitters.
Little looper, humpback liner right at Chase Utley, 1 away. Ball was spinning in a very odd way at Chase. So Ugla's retired. 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Seemed like Chase was trying to show Jimmy Rollins, the way that ball was coming at him.
Yeah, one of the few breaking balls that he throws to left-handers. That ball up in the zone.
Cody Ross takes one for a strike. It's 0-1. Well, the 2 walks to start this inning hurt Jamie. He walked Hanley Ramirez and Jorge Cantu, and then gave up the 3-run home run to Wes Helms, and that's why the Marlins have this lead. Trying to work the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Boy, he does speed and slow their bats up.
Well, he does. That's how he has to pitch. And he'll tell you he can't afford to go harder. So what he does is try and go softer, get a little bit more movement. But more importantly, he needs to be in the right zone on it. And that's a ball that would be on the corners.
One and 2 the count to Cody Ross. And he must have just gotten a piece of that one. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Yankees beat up on the Rangers 11-1. Alex Rodriguez, he was booed all day long in Texas. He went 5 for 5 with 4 RBIs. So the Yankees had the day game yesterday in New York and had to fly to Arlington, take on the Rangers in the day game today. And Ross down on strikes. Ruiz applies the tag, and there are 2 away. First strikeout for Jamie Moyer. Jamie with 249 wins is tied with Vic Willis on Major League Baseball's all-time list. Willis is a guy who was born in Maryland but grew up in Delaware. In fact, grew up in Newark, Delaware. And after his playing career, he went on to own and operate the Washington House Hotel in Delaware. 2-0 the count. Sarge, this is where the game of baseball has changed so much. Vic Willis had 388 complete games in 471 Major League starts.
Oh, boy. Well, he'd be a number one today.
He'd be a number one and number two, it sounds like. 3-0 the count to Ronnie Paulino.
No, back in the days, though, those pitchers took a lot of pride in completing their ball games. You know, and if you were a reliever, you weren't considered really a good pitcher. Now you have specialized pitching from long relief, short relief, and closing.
3-2 the count to Paulino. Well, it seemed like if you didn't complete the game back in the day, you didn't get paid. And you see how the complete games since the 60s have gone down gradually. Paulino pops it up. Shallow right, slicing toward the line. Well, the inning is over. But Jamie Moyer allows a 3-run home run to Wes Helms. And Wes, with one swing, wipes away this 2-0 Phillies lead. Gives the Marlins a 1-run lead. University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF-NOW. By your Quality Plus Ford dealers. And by Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Philadelphia Phillies. A little bit of a workout out there, Sarge. Right center field here at Citizens Bank Park.
That looks, yeah, that is a workout. Trying to move the runner around by how fast you're pedaling. Well, I should say running in place. Like to see you do that.
There'd be a lot of sweat if I was doing that.
Well, just as long as you get him around is what counts.
Some great camera shots here at Citizens Bank Park tonight. Our buddy Matt is roaming the stands, getting some good shots of the sold-out crowd. Jason Worth leads it off and swings at the first pitch. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
I hit a curveball. Again, that's not a pitch you want to hit off of Volstad, one of his better pitches. Have a little bit better success on that fastball, but you have to be able to determine soft from hard.
Well, that ground out right to Wes Helms is the 6th ground out already for Volstad. And we've got 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Victorino shows bunt, lays off, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, the good pitchers you want to really make work. And you make them work by taking pitches and trying to swing at your pitch up to 2 strikes. Now, once you get 2 strikes, you're trying to put the ball in play and hope that you have some good things that come.
Back through the middle, under the glove of Ramirez. Base hit for Victorino. Finish the game with Marshall Harris and former pitcher Ricky Bottalico. Extensive game breakdown plus player reactions on Sloan Toyota presents Phillies post-game live after the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Victorino's aboard. Shane has stolen 6 bases this year. He's been caught twice. Pedro Feliz doubled his last time up. He's at the plate. And the Phillies trail it by 1. I would think Victorino would test the arm of Paulino at some point during this at bat to Pedro.
Yeah, he was still off of that pitcher, however. But you're right, getting a good jump. Maybe Lopes will have the time on him.
He broke and then stopped, and the pitch is inside.
And you can see, though, that pitcher can see you going through from the side, from his peripheral vision. And a lot of times, just like that, he'll rush. Not kind of worry about where he's throwing the ball, just trying to get it to home plate quick. That's when hitters can capitalize off the pitcher.
Shane broke again. This time it's a strike to Phillies. Ronnie Paulino has caught just 6 in 30 attempts.
He's a big guy. As long as he doesn't use the slide step. You can see that percentage, 7 for 10, no pickoffs.
The base runners certainly have the advantage because of that big frame of Volstad, as you saw there.
Right. He takes a little longer time to get to the plate.
Victorino goes, and the ball is shot right through the hole on the right side. Second hit for Phillies, and Victorino being held up at third. And the Phillies have runners on first and third with 1 away. And you're right, Sarge, that was sweet.
Yeah, that ball there, being able to hit that runner running every single time. Usually the second baseman will be covering, and if the ball is hit anywhere, he's not going to be able to stop and be able to collect himself. Hits the ball right where it's pitched, fastball up in the zone. You can see the second baseman, Ugla, going over. Easy play for Victorino as he goes to third. Boy, Phillies doing a good job in staying there right over 300, hitting the ball the opposite way. We've talked about that. Hitters hitting that ball the opposite way just makes you stay on the ball a lot longer.
Well, that is already the 15th multi-hit game of the year for Phillies. He had 26 all of last year. And here's Ruiz. And he lays off a curve that's in for a strike, and it's 0-1. Let's see if the bottom of the order can come through here with runners on first and third. They came through an awful lot during the road trip, particularly against the Washington Nationals in that 4-game series.
Well, Ruiz himself has been a little bit more patient at the plate. Consequently, Carlos has had that average rise and rise. But against the good pitchers, these are the guys you really need to concentrate on to be able to hit the ball hard somewhere.
He hits it hard, but he pops it foul off to the right now to play. It's 1-2.
Well, he's going to get that high fastball or that hard breaking ball.
Sarge, Carlos has said that he has shortened his swing. He hasn't changed his stance, but he's shortened his swing. How's he done that?
Well, he's shortened his swing a little bit by not going for home runs. Usually when you're going for home runs, there's Milt. He'll tell you.
Tries to lay off the curve. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire. And John Hirschback rings up Carlos Ruiz.
That's what we've talked about. Hard curveball, very hard to stay off of. See that ball? That's didn't foul it off, so he called out on a swing.
What you think? You think he went? I didn't think he went on that.
That's pretty tough to call. I mean, he had his body kind of out in front. Ruiz didn't think that he swung. So you don't want to even get in that position to get to that pitch. That's, I mean, either way.
Close. I thought he held, though. Jamie Moyer walked his first time up. And he's batting here with runners on first and third. Oh, and 2 the count.
Wow. Molina giving signs to let him know that the runner goes. And don't think, though, that Pedro's going to go, but he's letting him know if he's going to throw through or hold the ball.
Now, Jamie's down on strikes, back-to-back strikeouts for Volstad. The Phillies strand a couple, one on first, one on third. We've completed 4, and the Marlins lead it by 1. Walk out in Ashburn Alley, which I've done quite often over since this ballpark opened, and it's a great view to stand right there where those fans are. Maybe talk to the visiting bullpen a few times during the course of the game. So you can hang out right there and watch that game with standing room only tickets, and it is a perfect spot.
The home team used to be there. They decided that they were hearing too much noise.
Chris Volstad leading off here in the top of the 5th, and behind in the count 0-2.
Fans will lean over and let you know what pitches they think you should be throwing.
Well, when this ballpark opened, there was a couple exhibition games to open up the park, and that's when the Phillies were at the higher bullpen. And then when opening day came, the Phillies were at the bottom bullpen.
Yeah, more of a request, I think, from the relievers.
Were they distracted, you think?
Oh, yeah. Boy, are you kidding me?
On the outside corner, Volstad rung up. 2 strikeouts for Jamie.
Yeah, he's not going to say anything at all, especially with the pitches that he's been getting. Pitchers know that. They don't usually argue when they're up at the plate whether or not it's a ball or a strike.
And now Chris Coughlin will be the batter. Coughlin hit his first major league home run against the Milwaukee Brewers. And what a hassle it was for him to get the ball back from the fan who caught it. Shows Button takes one for a strike. It's 0-1. Fan in Milwaukee caught the ball and then tried to negotiate with the Marlins and Coughlin on a way to trade the ball for a couple of trinkets.
Well, nothing wrong with that. I'd say a couple tickets, maybe a bat, be more than worth it for me.
You would think. 0-2 the count to Coughlin. The gentleman who caught the ball wanted a Hanley Ramirez autographed bat.
Okay.
Wanted a picture with Coughlin. Wanted 4 tickets to a game in Florida. As that one is ripped it to right field, a base hit. But I guess the list went on and on of things that he wanted. And then finally, after some extra negotiating, he finally gave the ball to Coughlin.
Well,
he wanted some. I think he wanted some cash first. And Coughlin said, "Hey, listen, I'm a rookie. I don't make that much money." But Coughlin did finally get the ball.
Tickets and a bat would be enough, and a pitcher.
Yeah.
But anything other than that, I mean, come on.
Want to know the count to Jeremy Hermida, who's 1 for 2. Did you ever get your first home run ball back?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. Because mine was hit in Atlanta, so.
Oh, it's to the
didn't
bullpen?
get to the,
Okay.
didn't hit to the fans. And the second one's off of Rico Carney's glove, so that one was easy to retrieve. Well, everybody wants to negotiate these days. But you really want your first one. I mean, if you can get it, you really would want to have that.
1-2 the count to Hermida as he chops that one over the camera well. Jeremy Hermida was really one of the only Marlins who had a good homestand. The Marlins as a team went 3-7 on their 10-game homestand. A few folks from Florida were saying today that they needed a change of scenery to get out of South Florida because they were struggling so much.
Well, this team swings for the fences a lot. They were cooking on all cylinders the beginning of the season, starting off 11-1. You can see the slump and exactly what they're doing. 11-1. Good thing they started off 11-1. You can see hitting .273. More importantly, pitchers with that low ERA.
And they were scoring 6.5 runs per game. Coughlin flinched, so Jamie decided to go over.
But when you get a team that swings for the fences, and just about every one of them, those are the kind of things that are going to happen. That end up popping up a lot of balls, and you can tell by a lot of the averages that are down. In particular, their second baseman, Ugla. His average is down this year.
Swing and a miss, and Hermida's down on strikes. Second out of the inning. Third strikeout for Moyer. And that's a pretty good pitch.
It's got that curveball working. Here's the grip on it. Now you can see that coming right over the top as it breaks away from Hermida. Good pitch by Jamie Moyer.
So Jamie has 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Hanley Ramirez the batter. And it was Ramirez who started all the trouble for Jamie in the last inning when he worked out a walk. That was followed by a walk to Jorge Cantu, and then the home run by Wes Helms, and that's why the Marlins lead it 3-2. He starts him off with one on the outside corner, and it's 0-1.
Well, Moyer kind of hesitates a little bit and freezes the runner. He doesn't know whether or not to go or not.
Seems like Ramirez is settling into that number 3 spot. It's been most of the time in the last few years as the leadoff hitter for Florida. But he is a run producer. That's why they wanted him in the middle of this lineup.
Yeah, this guy can just hit.
It's that one hard. Ooh, what a scoop by Pedro Feliz. That is some nifty defense over at third. Man, he can just glove it at the hot corner. And he retires Coughlin the short way to finish off this 5th inning. So the Marlins strand 1. We have played 4.5. Solid defense again by the Phils, helping out Jamie Moyer. What's going on here at the ballpark, including the Sound of Philadelphia celebration on the 19th. And then Sunday, the 21st, is a Chevrolet men's bucket hat. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Sarge, did you approve of the bucket hat?
I haven't seen it.
I'm sure you would approve of it, though. Last of the 5th inning, Phillies down 1, top of the order. And Jimmy Rollins serves one to left. And Coughlin makes the diving grab. Volstead like that. And Coughlin, who is normally an infielder, comes up with a big league outfield play.
Yeah, don't play there. He dives for the ball from the side. That's a play you really want to just catch standing up, going through the ball, because when you dive, you take a chance and dislodging it, although Volstead said, hey, way to go, as he gives him 5.
Chase is grounded to shortstop. He's flied to left, 0 for 2. Watches that one go by for a ball. Chase is 11 for his last 29. Getting close to 400 during that time. Changeup over for strike 1.
Yeah, Volstead comes right over the top with that changeup. Does the same thing with the fastball, the breaking balls, and when you do that, makes it that much tougher for the hitter because all your pitchers are coming in that same spot. There's another change. Well, that's a fastball in on the hands there. But he's throwing changeups in there. He's spotting the ball, and he's getting the calls on the inside part of the plate. Usually, you don't get calls on the inside, like Jamie didn't get it. Now it makes it easier for the hitter just to look out over the plate.
That ball hits Chase. Ooh, that hurt. Uh-oh. That's the 10th time he's been hit by a pitch, and boy, he grimaced when that happened.
Well, a hard breaking ball, hard curve ball or slider. He gets hit more on the foot. Now watch this. And reason being is that as he grimaces, never looks at the pitch or anything. He just goes right on the first base. He gets the foot down and the ball hits him. Boy, I tell you, I just couldn't take all those hits.
10 times. 10 times he's been hit by a pitch this year. Now, Pelfrey a few weeks ago hit him on the back foot and hit him with a fastball. That, fortunately, I guess you could say, it was a breaking ball, but it still hurt. Not
they
a lot
all
of protection
hurt. I
there.
mean, Jamie Moyer could hit you with a ball and it would still hurt, especially depending on where it hits you.
0-1 the count to Ibanez, who is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Struck out his last time up, and he hits one sharply on one hop. Nice play by Ramirez to second for 1, and a double play, and Volstead is out of this inning. That was a good play by Hanley Ramirez. Volstead appreciated the defense for the Florida Marlins during this inning. First a play by Chris Coughlin, and now a double play started by Hanley Ramirez. All eyes have been on the Phillies left fielder and his quick start. Continuing to rank among the league leaders in multiple areas, he added to his spring performance with a monster offensive series in Washington. He delivered 9 hits, powered out 3 home runs, and knocked in 9 RBIs. Raul earned and received National League Player of the Week honors, and it is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. And Raul hit the ball hard to finish off the bottom of the 5th inning, aiming for the middle, and it went just to the left of second base, and Hanley Ramirez, who was cheating over, made a fine play.
Hanley has good hands and shows you his athletic ability. Wasn't an easy double play.
Well, Ramirez, he'll make some errors, his share of errors. In fact, this year, he's made some easy plays look very difficult at times. He made a tough play look pretty easy last time. Jorge Cantu leads it off at the top of the 6th inning. Cantu has been on base twice as Jamie Moyer begins this 6th inning down 3-2. One and one the count.
And he's thrown a lot more curveballs tonight than we've seen him in the past, and Ruiz doing a great job recognizing which one of his pitchers are working to try and get those hitters off of that fastball and the changeup.
Well, he does have them off balance tonight. There's no doubt about that, with maybe the exception of Helms, who stayed back long enough to golf one out of the yard.
Yeah, he did stay back on that pitch. It wasn't a bad pitch. It was up a little bit, out over the plate, but Helms looking out over the plate after that fastball in.
And Cantu is down on strikes. 4th strikeout for Jamie. And it's his 3rd in the last 2 innings. And there's one away.
Well, here's that curveball that we're talking about again. Cantu out in front and off balance. Can't believe it. Had it in a good spot. When he throws it out there, it looks as if it's going to be a fastball as Helms comes up and get those familiar boos.
Particularly after hitting the 3-run home run, they're a little louder. And Jamie starts him off with a 68-mile-an-hour pitch, and the count is 0-1. Another curveball, according to the board.
Yeah, he did have a loop in it.
Well, sometimes it's for me. I don't know about folks at home, but for me, sometimes it's tough to tell the difference between a Jamie Moyer changeup and some of his curves. Like, there are some that have a big loop in it, like the one he threw to Cantu.
Yeah, usually on all pitches you can tell on velocity. Usually that curveball is in the 60s and changeup will be in the 70s. That's a fastball, however.
Yeah, that may have been his cutter, which he uses in a lot of ways like a fastball. Now that's a curve.
Yep.
This is what Wes Helms did in his last at bat. Everybody thought he was struck out.
You can see him reaching out all over the outside part of the plate on the fastball. The hitter looking out there. Very seldom, however, though, does Jamie double up inside with fastballs.
Count remains 1-2.
Now, Jamie will pitch in off the plate to try and go away. But like he says, hitters know that he's going to go away. It just depends how they're guessing. But majority of his pitches are away, and he'll surprise hitters with that fastball inside.
It's sharply over the glove of Utley toward right center field. Worth cuts it off, and Helms has his 2nd hit of the night and his 6th in his career against Moyer. Wes Helms had been 1 for his last 11 on the homestand and 5 for his last 26 before tonight. And Chan-Ho Park is up and loosening in the bullpen for the Phillies. Jamie is at 95 pitches. You know, Charlie has said over the years that he doesn't always know when the right time is to go out and get Jamie Moyer. Because at this point, he looks like he's still throwing pretty well.
Well, if he's fallen behind, again, Charlie Manuel will go on whether or not the opposition is actually hitting the ball hard, and you see him looking on and chewing that gum. If they're taking good swings off of him, that's what he's looking at. And he'll determine on that as well as the pitch count. Well, one of the things, he knows his game is still very, very manageable for the guys that come back. Only down by the 1 run.
See the way the defense is set up. Playing Uggla to pull with Utley cheating over toward the middle. That's in for a strike. It's 2-1. Jamie with 249 career wins, 189 losses. Boy, did he have Uggla way out in front of that changeup.
Yeah, and then you see when you're swinging wild, the way that Uggla, you saw that particular swing, that tells you there they got one thing on their mind, and that's to hit the ball out of the ballpark. See that pitch there as he spins around like a top. You look at these guys when they're, Jamie throws his 100th pitch in batting practice. I mean, they're hitting one ball after the other out of the ballpark. Jim Presley, their hitting coach, trying to get them to use the right field. But the reason they have so many strikeouts, going for the homers.
3-2 the count. You know, this is the 14th time that the Marlins have faced Jamie Moyer. Not this group entirely, but you would wonder, you know, that because they've seen him so many times, that they'd be able to make adjustments against him.
Well, they have had some better at bats, and usually this team swings at a lot of first pitches. They haven't been doing that so much tonight.
Runner doesn't go. 3-2, pulled foul.
You know, so even though you've seen a pitcher for, you know, years and years, you might know what he's throwing, but still you got to be able to put your game plan together. And when you're up at the plate, you get a little bit anxious. And there's some guys, quite frankly, that don't like hitting with 2 strikes. They feel uncomfortable.
Moyer's got 2 strikes on Dan Uggla here with 1 away in the top of the 6th inning. He's trying to hang on to a 1-run lead. And Uggla swings and fouls it into the glove of Ruiz, and he's down swinging on strikes. 5th strikeout for Jamie Moyer. And now he's 1 out away from getting out of the 6th inning, and most likely his last inning of the night.
Let's see what this pitch is that Jamie throws it. Another curveball. He's got it working tonight. Getting those strikeouts. He's got that curveball there in a good location. Breaking down.
Cody Ross is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to Jimmy Rollins. He's struck out. And he takes one at the knees for strike. It's 0-1. Oh, 1-2. Good spot.
That's like guys aren't used to swinging at balls on the inside part of the plate. Marvin Hudson, home plate umpire, has been calling this pitch all night long. Now it's up to the hitters to adjust on swinging on that inside pitch.
I don't want to harp, but the pitch to Helms that he let go by for the ball was a better pitch than that one was.
Well, I'll say it was.
1-2 the count.
I thought it was, for me, a makeup pitch because there was one that was low with 2 balls and no strikes that he ended up calling a strike and didn't want to call him out on strike 3. But for me, you don't make makeup calls. You call it the way it is. If you miss one, you miss one. And he did miss one.
Jamie shaking off one after another from Carlos Ruiz. What do you think as a hitter here, Sarge? What are you looking for?
Something off speed, just going to stay back.
Maybe that tumbling hook.
I'm not going to sit on it.
Line drive to the middle, a base hit. Helms will stop at second. And the inning continues for the Marlins.
The only thing wrong with that pitch is that it was up. Change up, but it was up in the zone. Cody kind of just waiting back, driving it up the middle. Now, if you're trying to hit the ball out, you pop that up. Now, watch this. Not a bad pitch, but up in the zone. You can see if it's a little bit lower, then he's going to run out of bat. Solid line drive right up the middle.
Now Paulino, who's 0 for 2. Retired by Phillies in the second inning, and then Worth in the fourth inning. He's got the pitcher's spot due up next. He might be able to be a little extra careful with Paulino here.
Well, I would think that he'd want to be and make sure that if he hits a ball, it's his pitch. You can see him coming inside to go out. That ball off the plate.
See Paulino's numbers with runners in scoring position for his career.
Good career number, good career average, 299.
He starts most days against left-handers. John Baker is the everyday catcher, and he starts against right-handers. That is the 9th 3-ball count for Moyer, but this one might be intentional as the pitchers due up next for the Marlins. And he gets the green light on 3-0. He rolls it right through the middle, rounding third, heading for home as well. Helms, the throw by Victorino way off the line, and the Marlins lead it 4-2. And a good throw, and they may have had Wes Helms at the plate.
Wow.
You surprised he got the green light on 3-0?
No, but I'm just surprised that Jamie ended up throwing a strike there. You can see that ball hit right up the middle, catching too much of the plate, especially with that pitcher coming up next. The pitcher ends up getting the hit. That's a little different, but you can see Helms coming around and digging all the way. This throw is off the mark by Victorino. See Ruiz coming over and getting that ball, and with that swing, it's another reason why you'd want to make sure that pitch is a ball or unhittable.
Well, Volstad is 0 for 2. Moyer trying to get out of the 6th inning without any more damage done. Phillies trail at 4-2. 2 runners in scoring position for the Marlins. And Volstad lines one to center. Here comes Victorino. Diving grab. He makes the catch. And the inning is over. Shane Victorino came sprinting in and grabbed that one before it hit the top of the grass. The Marlins do get one, but Acura Advance. By Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. Oh, diving grab by Shane Victorino out in center field. Finished off the top of the 6th inning. The Marlins, though, did get a run against Jamie Moyer, so their lead is at 2.
Yeah, that's what Gary Maddox used to do, play shallow. Victorino plays shallow. That's why he can take away those hits. But when he's throwing that ball in, he's got to get that ball down. So if you don't get the runner at home, you can cut it off and get one of the runners going to one of the bases.
Which they may have had a chance to do that at second base. That's a good point, Sarge.
Well,
I didn't think about that.
Polino, for sure, they could have gotten going to second.
I think a good throw would have even had Helms at the plate. Ryan Howard is homered tonight. He's 1 for 2. And he has seen only one fastball since that home run, which he hit on a fastball.
Yeah, there's an adjustment. And then when he throws the fastball, he's been throwing it up and out of the zone and inside.
1-1 the count to Ryan. Volstad in his career against the Phillies. This is now his 5th game. He's allowed just 19 hits against the Phillies in 26 innings of work. Asked yesterday why he's had so much success, he said, I have no idea.
Well, he's got a good breaking ball is the reason. You know, the pitchers that have a real good breaking ball, able to spot their fastball.
Active players with the best ERA against the Phillies, and Volstad leads the way. And Howard hits one in the air to left center field. He caught up to that one. It's gone! Oh, boy, Ryan Howard the opposite way, his second one of the night. And he has hit some monster home runs here in this ballpark this evening.
Well, let him get hot, and the whole league is going to be in trouble. Finally got a changeup, but that changeup, when we take a look at it, I would bet would be up in the zone as he cracks that ball over the 387 mark. Cadillac time again. Boy, when he hits him, it's just no doubt about him. He gives high five going into the dugout. Check it out. Change up. High in the zone. See you later. Boy, he just doesn't miss him when you get him up there.
18th career multi-home run for Ryan Howard. That thing went about 12 rows back.
Boy, oh boy.
Count is 0-1 to Jason Worth. No balls and 2 strikes now to Jason. Worth has grounded out twice in this ball game.
Jason taking much better at bats, and meaning that he's keeping that shoulder in now and having healthy cuts. Doesn't guarantee you hits, but it will maximize your ability, and you're able to see the pitches a lot better when you're not moving all around in that batter's box.
Hits it hard at shortstop Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez nearly sailed that throw. One away.
I kind of forgot who was actually running.
So the Phillies get one back here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Second home run of the night for Ryan Howard. 18th career multi-home run game.
Wow.
And Victorino's 1 for 2.
Boy, he just hits him so loud when he hits him.
I know over the years they say when he starts hitting them the opposite way, that's when you know he's going good.
Yeah, that's for just about any hitter.
Could be a tough play for Ugla. And he just gets Victorino. 2 outs now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cincinnati Reds will be in town right after the 4th of July weekend. Monday, July 6th, the start of a 4-game series. Verizon Phillies beach towel to be given out on Tuesday, the 7th of July. Wednesday's the 7:05 start, and then Thursday, the 9th, is an Independence Blue Cross fireworks night. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. The youngster's got himself some pretty good seats there. Pedro Feliz is 2 for 2. He is doubled. He's singled. Ramirez has been busy tonight with Volstead on the mound, and the Phillies are retired, but they get one back on another home run by Ryan Howard. This one the opposite way. He's got 2 tonight. Phillies trail it by 1.
Big night for Ryan Howard. He's been the Phillies offense here tonight. He knocked in all 3 runs with 2 home runs, one a booming one to center field, one to left center, his 11th and 12th of the year. See, he's knocked in the 3 runs. Wes Helms has a 3-run home run, his first of the year after 2 walks. That gave the Fish a 3-2 lead at the time, and Chris Volstead threw 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Phillies are going to make some changes here, Tom, as we checked out our Verizon wireless game summary.
Well, Greg Dobbs comes on to play third base for the Phillies, so he'll bat on the number 9 spot, and Chan-Ho Park is the new pitcher, and he'll bat in Pedro Feliz's spot in the order. That's the number 7 hole. So Charlie Manuel may be looking to get a couple of innings out of Chan-Ho Park here, with the Phillies trailing at 4-3.
Right, that's why you'd make a double switch to get more than 1 inning out of him and have Dobbs bat second in the 7th inning.
Jamie Moyer today allowed 4 runs on 7 hits over 6 innings. Walked 2. They both scored, struck out 5. And he'll now have to go after his 250th career victory this weekend against the Washington Nationals. Chris Coughlin, the batter, he's 1 for 3. And Park has fallen behind, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Talked about how the walks didn't hurt the Phillies over the weekend. Well, they hurt them tonight.
Yeah, the Phillies had gone 23 innings, make it 24 counting the game against Cincinnati, without a walk by their starting pitcher. Nice play by Ryan Howard over toward the line. Again, and there's 1 away. We're becoming a broken record about that.
It's amazing how good he is down there right now. You know, he is just so confident. Everything is so smooth. Footwork is so good. Just another really good play. I mean, he broke great on that. He was totally under control, and he used that big picker, catch the ball, and just run over to first base.
1 away here in the top of the 7th. Jeremy Hermite is 1 for 3. He has singled, he struck out, he's grounded out, and he takes 1 for a strike.
Probably the walk that didn't happen is the thing that'll bother Jamie Moyer more than anything. That 3-0 that Paulino hit up the middle for a base hit. They give him their 4th run with a pitcher on deck who they weren't going to hit for.
Well, we were also talking about the pitch before the home run by Helms, which looks so good as Hermida goes the opposite way over the head of Ibanez, a base hit. Ibanez plays it well. His throw to second base, though, not in time. And Hermida's got a one-out double.
Yeah, that looked like it had a heck of a chance to be a strike. I don't know. I was watching a monitor down here, and it looked like he had him struck out.
It sure did. 5th double of the year for Hermida, and here's that pitch we were talking about. 2 strikes. And Marvin Hudson certainly called that during the course of this game.
It's hard to believe that didn't cross home plate as a strike, but it wasn't called one, and then he hit the 3-2 out first for a home run. You know, if you have an overhead, you'd really get a good look at it. That did look like it could have been a strike, though. Jamie Moyer shows some emotion on that, too, and he normally doesn't do that.
There's Hanley Ramirez out in front of the first pitch, and he pops it up. J-Roll is there, and there are 2 away. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizen 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Two outs here at the top of the 7th inning. This is the point in the game where the Marlins have had a lot of trouble, particularly during this stretch in which they've won just 9 and lost 24 in their last 33.
Well, they were having bullpen problems when the Phillies saw them last month. And that was one of the reasons why the Phillies beat them a couple of games. Actually, they swept them down there. And the bullpen in the first 2 games imploded late.
Yeah, the Phillies during that 3-game sweep of the Marlins down in Florida scored 26 runs. And that bullpen has been ever changing. Lindstrom's still the closer. Nunez is still one of the setup guys. But they put Reniel Pinto on the disabled list today, so they have 1 left-hander coming out of the pen. 3-0 the count to Cantu.
Yeah, that's Dan Meyer, the South Jersey native. And they're starting to stir a little bit in their bullpen out there. You'd think they'd want to get at least 1 more out of Olstad, though.
Ball 4. Cantu's aboard. So runners on first and second. You know, the Phillies are wearing the red caps today with the stars and stripes. And that doesn't look that odd. The Marlins are wearing the red caps, as you just saw in their bullpen. You know, last year the Phillies wore the blue caps, so did everybody else around Major League Baseball. This year they've gone with the red caps, and those hats are produced by a new era. They're worn on field to show support for the Welcome Back Veterans Foundation. A portion of the proceeds from the sale of those hats will go toward the Welcome Back Veterans Foundation. All around baseball today on this Memorial Day, the umpires, the players in the field are all wearing the red caps with the team's logo. And you see the umpire's cap worn by Marty Foster, the third base umpire. Wes Helms the batter. The count 0-1. And Helms lays off a slider, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. These hats will be worn on the 4th of July weekend. The 3 days that make up the 4th of July weekend. And also on September 11th, a day of remembrance. Line drive toward the gap in left center field. Another base hit for Helms, his 3rd of the game, and another RBI. The throw to second base holds Helms at first. And the Marlins now lead it 5-3. Wes Helms has 3 hits tonight. It's his first 3-hit game since June of last year.
Came into the game with 6 RBIs.
And he has 4 in tonight's game.
Well, he hits this ball hard off a right-hander. You know, he plays him against left-handers as Freddie Gonzalez sometimes, especially Moyer and Hamels when the Phillies played him. But he did not pinch hit for him there. And it paid off because he got the base hit.
So Hermida scores. Dan Uggla is the batter. And Uggla hits one toward the hole at shortstop. And Dobbs will take care of Helms, and the inning is over. But Helms again provides the spark for the Florida Marlins an RBI single, and the Fish lead at 5-3.
Through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Oh, a beautiful rendition of God Bless America here at Citizens Bank Park by Terry Peer, one of the Phillies' longtime ushers at this ballpark and also at Veterans Stadium across the way. And she can belt it out, boys. She's sung the national anthem a number of different times,
Great
not only at
job.
the Vet, but also here at Citizens Bank Park.
That was really good.
And we begin the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Phillies trail at 5-3. And we'll begin with 8, 9, and 1. 9 is a little different, though. It's not the pitcher. Greg Dobbs came in as part of a double switch, so it's Ruiz, Dobbs, and then the top of the order. And the Phillies again trail at 5-3 against Chris Volstad, who's been good again tonight against the Phillies. Ruiz 0 for 2. The Marlins do have a reliever loosening up. It's their only left-hander, Dan Meyer. I guess that's in case this inning gets to Chase Utley. There's Dan Meyer, the South Jersey native, because then it would be Utley, Ibanez, and Ryan Howard. Two and two the count to Ruiz. Carlos went down after check swinging at a pitch his last time up. And the Fanatic is trying to not only inspire the crowd, but is periodically putting a hex on Chris Volstad, too. 3-2 is hit in the air. Down the right field line. It's playable. And Hermida makes the grab, and there's one away.
Yeah, and that was a run they didn't get in because there were less than 2 outs at the time. And struck out Carlos on that check swing. And No, this is one of those games where they had the lead and now they're having trouble catching up.
Under pitches now for Volstad. We figure this is going to be his last inning if he can get through it. And he is due to bat third in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, and those left-handed hitters coming along, and they have the one left-hander they have available, and Meyer up.
Dobbs on the year, hitting 143, and he swings at the first pitch. And it's foul. It's 0-1. Dobbs hit his first home run of the season on the road trip. They went into the Phillies bullpen in Cincinnati. He hits that one off his foot.
Well, he took a long walk. And he broke his bat at the same time. That's a double whammy, huh? Beat one off your foot and break the bat.
Well, we said Volstad throws that hard sinker. And that hard sinker produced that foul ball off of Dobbs' foot. He has 11 outs recorded tonight on the ground.
They've hit some balls hard off him tonight. That ball Ibanez hit was a BB.
Oh, it was a bullet to Ramirez? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, into a double play. But Volstad's done what he does, and that's keep his team in the game. He's a good pitcher.
0-2 the count now to Dobbs. And Gregg went fishing at a breaking ball. 2 outs.
Fastball and a good curveball. He's thrown a few changeups tonight, but basically fastball, curveball, occasional slider. The 2 best pitches are his fastball and his curveball.
Two outs and a field level shot of Jimmy Rollins digging in. His offense trying to get something rolling against Volstad. The only offense tonight has been a couple home runs by Ryan Howard. Jimmy hits it in the air to right center field. It's deep. Hermita's going back. Warning track. Does he have room? It's off the top of the wall. Jimmy heading to second. He's going to stop there. And the Phillies have a 2-out base runner. Look at that throw by Dan Uggla. Unfortunately, Volstad was there to back it up, and Helms was there to knock it down.
Yeah, with 2 outs, Jimmy Rollins not going to take any chances going to third base. 1 out, you take a shot at it. Another breaking ball, and this one he hits hard. Looks like it has a chance to leave the ballpark in right center field, but it did appear to hit high up on the wall out there. Here's a look at it. And there it is above the scoreboard. And with Chase Utley coming up representing the tying run, that's going to be it for Volstad.
So Freddie Gonzalez out to the mound. He's going to take the ball from his young right-hander. 6 2/3 for Volstad. The double by Rollins sends him to the showers. Dan Meyer will be the new pitcher for the Marlins. We'll tell you about him when we return. I was going to say his first name is the same as a guy who has 3,000 hits in his career. Clemente Nunez, a 16-year-old from the Dominican Republic.
Second, and his last name is the same name as a guy in the bullpen.
That is true.
I'd have really gotten that one. Really close to a home run. Watch where this goes. Oh, there's a great shot.
That is a great shot.
Boink. Right below the padding.
So Volstad's night is done. By the way, you can log back onto Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thank you for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. Volstad gives way to Dan Meyer, the South Jersey native. He's faced Chase Utley only one other time in his career, and he walked him.
Well, they love to pick up a 2-out run here and get it down to 1.
And that one nearly hit Chase.
Again.
He was hit by a pitch in his last at bat. See Meyer's numbers, 22 games now, a 2.79 ERA. Lefties are hitting over 300 against Meyer in his career, and they're hitting 250 against him this year.
167 right-handed hitters. Evidently has a pretty good cutter to right-handed hitters, and that would be the reason for that number. There's Volstad looking on.
1-0 off the end of the bat. A cue shot at Helms. Has trouble getting out of his glove, but he still gets Utley, and the inning is over. So the Phillies strand a runner in scoring position as Meyer picks up for Volstad. We've played 7. Marlins lead it by 2. .7 Auto, and by your local Chevy dealers. Beautiful night here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies and the Marlins, game 1 of 3, the first of a 6-game homestand, and the Phillies trail at 5-3. Phillies are 8-12 here at home this year, and 16-6 on the road. Cody Ross leads things off for the Marlins, and Chenhoe Park starts them off with a pitch for a strike.
That part in the game where every little run counts, and Chenhoe Park has given up 1. He needs to shut him down here in the 8th.
He's got the bottom of the order to contend with. It's Ross, Paulino, and then maybe a pinch hitter.
But you'd think Meyer may even hit here, though, with the 2 left-handed hitters started off the inning.
Leo Nunez, though, is up and loosening in the pen for the Marlins. Pop up to the right of home plate. Ruiz off with the mask. What away. Hey fans, if you want to get a chance to come to Citizens Bank Park at some point this year, maybe take in more than one game, well, the Grand Slam 4-pack is just for you. You can customize your own 4-pack, pick some of the best games of the year, like the Mets games, the Friday fireworks, or the Brad Lidge bobblehead, and then add 3 more. You can do that by logging on to Phillies.com.
Yeah, they're going to go to Nunez because Glode's coming in the on-deck circle. Ross Glode to bat for Meyer.
There is Ross Glode, who had the game-winning hit last night, or yesterday, I should say, against the Rays. As Nunez is firing in the pen. Ball and 2 strikes as Park comes in with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Gary Sheffield is at another home run for the Mets. A 3-run shot. They lead the Nationals 5-1. Polito down on strikes. Ruiz will get an angle. Are they saying he fouled that ball off?
I guess.
Home plate umpire Marvin Hudson is saying he fouled it off, and Carlos Ruiz is saying, hey, ask for help. Charlie Manuel now is going to go out and ask the same thing. He may not do it as nicely, though, as Carlos does.
Let's see if he fouls this. Paulino didn't think he fouled it. No, he missed it.
He was nowhere near it.
Close to it. He missed that by 6 inches. Yeah, he missed it.
Yeah, he went right over top.
Absolutely missed it. That's where you ask the first base umpire on that one. And Hudson's just saying he has the play, but he has it, but he's wrong.
We saw this at Yankee Stadium this weekend. Carlos Ruiz sold a swing by Derek Jeter. That after looking at the replay, the ball went in the dirt on a foul tip. And the home plate umpire said, no, it didn't tip. It just went into his glove. It didn't hit the ground. It just went into his glove.
He's saying it's a foul ball, and that's, now here comes Hirschbeck down the line, the veteran umpire, and you see Hirschbeck he's trying to go Charlie.
Well, Charlie probably didn't go back and see the pitch that Helms took before his home run, but I'm sure people have talked about it in that dugout after seeing the replay. He's not going to ask for help, and Paulino's going to get an extra pitch.
And it was interesting, too, after that strikeout, Glode went back to the dugout. Here it is, and he's going to miss it here, too.
Missed it by a mile.
Yeah, Glode had gone back to the dugout with 2 outs. It looked like Meyer was going to hit.
And now Paulino's down on strikes. An extra pitch from Park, and they're 2 away.
And there he goes back. Now what are they going to do?
Well, they're going to bring up one of their backup catchers, Brett Hayes.
Yeah. Here's another breaking ball from Chan-Ho Park, and no doubt on that one.
Yeah, threw it a little higher so Marvin could see it. 2 away. And Brett Hayes is one of 3 catchers on this roster for the Florida Marlins. He has a base hit. He's also scored a couple runs so far this season. To the count. I know we said it this weekend that home plate umpires sometimes don't want to ask for help if they're sure of a call like that. But you wonder why they don't just ask for help.
I agree, because the idea is get it right. What could it hurt?
Bouncer foul past the third base bag.
In this case, it's not going to influence the game, but it could have.
So it's 0-2 to Brett Hayes. Phillies have 2 more at bats against the Marlins bullpen. They trail it by 2.
And they're going to face 2 hard throwers too, in Nunez and Lindstrom. They come right after you. Nunez also has a great changeup.
Phillies had success against Nunez down in Florida.
Well, he tried to close that one night after he pitched the 8th inning the night before, and when he tried to close, he was wild.
Good pitch by Park. Ruiz digs it out. And the strikeout is finished off. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Chan-Ho Park. A 1-2-3 eighth. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies trail it by 2. Baseball Academy. Baseball for girls and boys ages 7 to 14. Softball for girls ages 9 to 14. 14 locations, 18 weeks to choose from. You can log on to PhilliesCamps.com for information or call 610-520-3400. Leo Nunez, the new pitcher for the Marlins, facing Raul Ibanez here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He starts them off with a 94-mile-an-hour heater. 23rd game for Nunez, 2-2, a 3.63 ERA. He has not attempted to close a game since he blew a save against the Phillies.
There's a changeup, yeah, and it's a good one. Well, that's the whole thing about, you know, guys that pitch the 8th doesn't necessarily mean that they can close a game. And he's one of those guys that could be that type of pitcher.
Ibanez has a base hit and 1 at bat against Leo Nunez. Phillies have come from behind 15 times this year, and Freddie Gonzalez's squad has dropped a number of games during this 9-24 stretch when they've been leading late in games. 1 out.
Well, I mentioned what a good fastball he has, but he really likes to use his changeup too, and that's why he's so effective and can be effective against left-handed hitters, because here comes that real good changeup. You see the splits in the fingers, and that thing really dove down and away, and he threw 2 good ones to Raul Ibanez.
Ryan Howard has homered twice tonight. We mentioned it's the 18th time in his career he's had a 2-home run game.
This guy has great arm speed with his changeup too. That arm is flying, and it looks like a fastball. Has to the hitters.
That youngster is hoping for another 3-home run game from Ryan Howard. If not that, at least a base runner here. Phillies down 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. At the knees, 1-1.
Deep in the outfield, 3-man overshift in the infield for Ryan Howard. He's just been hitting over the infielders tonight.
He's been hitting over everybody.
Infielders and the outfielders.
Out in front, and it's 1-2. Ryan has one 3-home run game in his career. September 3rd, 2006 against the Atlanta Braves.
Put them all off Tim Hudson. 3 homers off 1 pitcher. Here comes a changeup.
Ryan took a pretty good hack at it too.
Nice to know that if you were the hitter. Huh? Watch out. This guy's got a power delivery. He's not a real big guy, but he really comes. Look how fast that arm's coming right there, and that's a changeup. He literally leaves the left side of the diamond wide open.
Another changeup hit in the air to left field. Not that deep. And Coughlin has it for the second out.
There he gets 2 outs on 2 good left-handed hitters on changeups.
Two away here in the bottom of the 8th for Jason Worth. Jason's grounded out 3 times.
He'll throw some sliders too. But when we saw him in that game in Florida, he really doesn't throw breaking balls to left-handed hitters. He'll throw a slider to right-handed hitters. He started Jason Worth with a good fastball. Slider.
And he had that clean 8th inning down in Florida, the one game. And then he was just rattled in the 9th inning of another game.
Well, Lindstrom blew the save that night. Then they used him to close in the game on Saturday, and he blew the save.
.97 miles an hour.
This guy's got a great arm. Who did they trade Jacobs for?
Mike Jacobs. He was at the Kansas City Royals last year. Nunez was.
This guy's got a power arm, but that changeup's what makes him.
45 games last year for the Royals. He was 4-1 with a 2.98 ERA. Jacobs has had a good year offensively with the home runs for the Royals, but you would think that any team that has this kind of arm would hold on to it.
Yeah. These are the kind of arms that everybody wants to get. You know, maybe he just couldn't get the job done in Kansas City. Maybe they saw some things they didn't like. And the Marlins are going to find out. But he sure has ability.
There's that change up, and it's a humpback liner right at Hanley Ramirez. Part of the bat goes out toward Wes Helms, and the inning is over. Phillies are retired in order here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We head to the 9th with the Marlins leading it by 2. Top of the 9th inning, Marlins lead it by 2, 5-3. And Chan-Ho Park is on to pitch his 3rd inning. She looks very comfortable there with her Care Bear and in the lap of a family member. All she has left to do is watch Phillies victory tonight.
That'd be all right. Up the park now to get one more inning. That's why they put him in the bullpen, because he can pitch multiple innings and keep you from having to use 2-3 guys.
That one's pulled right past Chase Utley, a base hit to right field. And it's a leadoff single for Coughlin here at the top of the 9th inning. So that's his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 5. And Jeremy Hermida, who also has 2 hits, will stand in.
Now they're going to get somebody up. It looks like they would hope that he could just get through this inning and not have to use anybody up or even warm him up. But there's somebody they're starting to stir a little bit.
We're over to first, and Coughlin goes back. That may be a delay tactic too, to let Rich Dubé and Charlie Manuel decide if they do want to get somebody up. Those 3 guys right there in the front of the Phillies bullpen: Brad Lidge, Chad Durbin, Jack Taschner. They got up right after the base hit. So maybe they just wanted to change their spot and change the luck a little bit.
And they also are anticipating that phone ringing. Looked like Matt Lindstrom up in the bullpen. Hard throwing right-hander. He's a closer.
There's Matt Lindstrom loosening up.
He can touch off some radar guns. High numbers.
He's got a high ERA this year too.
Yeah, well, he can come in and be a little wild. That's why it's really important to keep this game right where it is, because Lindstrom can come in and start walking people.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Hermida. Charlie talking the game with Pete Buchanan, his bench coach. I was talking to Pete about his position here with the Phillies, and he said, well, I came to find out that Charlie doesn't need a whole lot of advice. He's got a pretty good grasp of what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And Hermida's down on strikes for the first out.
A lot more people realize that.
3 strikeouts for Chan Ho Park now in this outing. Well, we mentioned that Leslie Goodell and Comcast Sportsnet will have Sports Night later on after this ball game, and they will recap Delaware County honoring the late great Harry Callis. You just saw Harry's son Kane speaking at the Memorial Day Parade in media. That is an event that Harry did every single year. And Kane so eloquent with his words, not only during Harry's memorial service here, but also at the event today.
State Street Media, and Bob McMahon. I don't know if Bob's still the mayor out there or not. He may be, but anyway, Bob McMahon, there's a honor to Harry out there in the outfield. Bob and Harry worked on that many years together in media. And Harry lived in media.
Yeah, and they honored Harry today. And Kane read a poem that Harry had read before as a tribute to the heroes of war.
Harry served in the Army and was stationed in Hawaii. He used to talk about what dangerous duty that was. And Whitey was in the Army and was stationed in Alaska.
That one hit back up the middle off the glove of Park. Diving play by Rollins. Does it got him? No. Boy, Jimmy made every effort to get to that ball, as it just grazed off the glove of Chan Ho Park and slowed it up enough to allow Jimmy to get there.
Jammed his shoulder a little bit, it looks like. Hopefully he's okay. He lands hard here. Right there. And makes the flip. Chase Utley trying to get the call. There's Rollins just extended. You see that shoulder going down there, and he's flexing it out at shortstop right now. Hopefully he's all right.
Well, he nearly pulled off a magical play at second base. Here's Cantu with 1 away. Cantu walked his only time up against Chan Ho Park. That was back in the 7th inning.
Well, nobody up in the pen. This is Park's game at this point.
Delivers a strike on the inside corner. It's 0-1. Jen Ho has faced Jorge Cantu 5 other times. And Cantu has 3 hits in those 5 official at-bats. But Park is ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. This game will encore tonight at 10:30 p.m. and tomorrow at 6 a.m. on the Comcast Network. And tonight at 1:30 a.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies got off to a 2-0 start in the first inning and a home run by Ryan Howard. He's hit 2 tonight. 0-2 popped up. And that'll find the seats on the right side.
Well, Helms is on deck. He's had a hot night, but they have 2 left-handed hitters on the bench. They have Baker and Glode. They can still go to if Freddie Gonzalez would want to go that route. But Wes has swung the bat well tonight.
He may just roll the dice because he's had such a hot hand.
They do have an extra infielder that they can put at third base. And that's Bonifacio if they decide to make that move. So it's not like he's out of infielders.
No balls and 2 strikes to Cantu. Park has reached 40 pitches tonight, and he's thrown a lot of strikes. Only 11 balls so far in this outing. Make it 12. This series continues tomorrow night here at Citizens Bank Park. Joe Blanton gets the start for the Phillies. And he'll be opposed by left-hander Andrew Miller. There's Joe, who had 4 real good innings against the Reds in his last outing. Wound up getting the win. Phillies had to tack on some runs at the end to finish it off. And Cantu handcuffed, and Park has another strikeout. 4 strikeouts for Park, 2 away.
Really has an awkward swing at this. You wonder about that wrist Tom talked about earlier. Supposed to be a slider away. It turned into more of a backup slider, and it folded to his eyes. That pitch was going to go away from him with a spin, and it turned into a backup slider, and that's why he had that awkward swing.
Wes Helms has had a fantastic night against his former teammates. 4 RBIs. And he was looking for a little bit more with that swing, and it's 0-1. He homered back in the 4th, a 3-run shot. He's got 2 runners on here. He has singled twice, scored twice. He's raised his average nearly 40 points in one night.
Well, he doesn't play that much. Playing third base, and that's where Bonifacio was playing all those games when he was so hot.
Kind of the same formula he used to try to get Jorge Cantu. 2 quick strikes and then the breaking ball, the slider down in the dirt. And it's 1-2. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Phillies will have Victorino, the pitcher spot, and Ruiz due up against Matt Lindstrom.
See Park, after he threw that slider, he hung it. He's trying to work on, he's pretty demonstrative out there, and he's trying to get himself to pull through that pitch a little bit better and get more of a bite to it. He's trying to throw a perfect slider or a real good one here, a chase breaking ball that he'll go after.
He has so many moving parts too to that motion that sometimes I would think the mechanics get all out of whack.
Well, sometimes you open up too much and the arm drags and that pitch will hang.
And he and Carlos Ruiz don't agree on the signs that are being laid down, so they'll talk a little bit.
Yeah, they're not sure what they want to throw here. At least one of them isn't.
Well, it looked like Carlos wanted a fastball away. And they do go away with a fastball.
And he was late on it because he's anticipating slider there. There's Park. I mean, he's an over-the-top guy with a lot of movement in that delivery and a lot of force in it. And sometimes, like a lot of guys, he'll open up, and then when he opens up, that's when he makes mistakes. And once again, they're having trouble deciding on where they want to go with this. No way to know what the pitch is because they get different signs.
Another foul ball by Helms.
It was a slider.
Well, this place had a buzz to it early on in the ball game when Ryan Howard hit a 2-run home run off the brick wall, the batter's eye in center field. Later on, he came back and hit a solo home run to left center field.
Yeah, the Marlins have taken the crowd out of this game tonight because they had the lead. And they haven't been able to catch up. Still one more shot. They got to get Helms out here.
Yeah, the Marlins have had the lead since the 4th inning when Helms hit a 3-run home run. And he got it. Got the slider, and Helms goes down on strikes. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Jan Ho Park. 5 strikeouts over 3 innings of work. One last chance for the Phillies, down by 2. Down. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. So Lindstrom is on with the Marlins leading it by 2. And the Phillies have rocked this year when down 15 victories when trailing at one point or another during the ball game. 21st game for Lindstrom. He has 8 saves, a 6.50 ERA. 18 strikeouts in 18 innings, but look at the walks. He's walked 14 in 18 innings of work. And it's rally cap time.
Well, that night we talked about him blowing that save was when Shane Victorino hit the grand slam home run. Phillies had a huge ninth inning.
And Victorino will greet Matt Lindstrom to start the bottom of the ninth here.
And he needs to get on base.
Got Matt Stairs in the on-deck circle for Ruiz. And he starts them all with a fastball in there for strike. It's 0-1. Lindstrom in that game, 7 runs, 4 hits, 2 home runs. He walked 3 in 2/3 of an inning.
He won real good in that game.
No, not at all. Victorino thought about a bunt, pulled it back, and it's 1-1. Now, if you want to figure out how the Phillies and the Marlins got their runs tonight, take a look at that scroll at the top of your screen. Shane, good eye. That's a tough pitch to hold off on if you're a left-hander hitter.
Well, especially a slider like that, because you're geared for a fastball with this guy. You know, hitters are thinking about getting started quick on Lindstrom.
Victorino 2 hits and 7 career at-bats against Lindstrom, including that granny. Three and 1.
That's what we talked about with him. I mean, he can get wild. You have to be patient with Lindstrom.
That man has never met a fastball he didn't like. That's Matt Stairs in the on-deck circle. Great at bat by Victorino. Down in the count 0-1. He gets 4 straight out of the strike zone. And he's persistent and patient enough to hold off. And now the tying run comes to the plate. And the greeting for Matt Stairs just seems to get louder and louder for him.
And Mark Wiley comes to the mound, the pitching coach. They do this a lot of times when a pinch hitter comes up nowadays to go over the scouting report. And no scouting report on Stairs. He's a dead red hitter, and this guy's a fastball pitcher.
Wiley's saying, all right, you throw it 100, he'll hit it. Throw it at 95, he'll hit it.
Yeah, you know, they probably are talking about mixing in a breaking ball and hoping they get lucky. Maybe he'll turn it over.
Marvin Hudson breaks up the meeting. Stairs, 2 homers and 7 RBIs. Those 2 home runs have come this year as a pinch hitter. He had a big base hit against Lindstrom in that game too.
Yep.
And his only career at bat against him went right through the right side of the diamond. Victorino takes a healthy lead off first. He goes. Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second base on 1 hop, and Victorino is out.
Oh boy, that's not good. Good tag by Ramirez, a 1-hopper. Wow.
Tough to steal on Lindstrom when he throws as hard as he throws.
Well, there has to be no doubt. Paulino makes a low throw, but it's right on the bag. Short hop. Good tag by Ramirez.
1 away. And 1-1 to Stairs. Or I should say 0-2 to Stairs. Shane going his own there, you think?
Well, yeah, I would think he did. We'll have to, that'll be a question that'll be asked right after the game. You know, find out.
Awkward swing. Helms has got it. Does a little pirouette. And there are 2 away. The other thing, too, is it kind of calms Lindstrom down.
Oh,
where he doesn't have the base runner. And let's face it, Phillies fans are some of the loudest in the league.
Well, yeah,
If you have a runner on first, I mean, that's rattling around a pitcher's head.
Well, he just walks the leadoff man. Now you have a home run hitter up looking for a fastball to hit. Just took the air out of the balloon. You see Charlie talking to him about it.
Carlos Ruiz, the batter, he's 0 for 3.
They'll work it out.
Well, now the Phillies need a base runner, even more with 2 away. Dobbs waits on deck. Lindstrom has been clocked at 100 miles an hour during his professional career. That one was at 95. And now 2-2. Man, this place has gotten quiet too.
Oh yeah, that was a play that really sucked the life out of the crowd, which is understandable. Well, they need another base runner. It'll come back up.
As Shane took off, you just wanted to grab him and pull him back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Called strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Florida Marlins have taken game 1 of this 3-game series by a final score of 5-3 as the Marlins bullpen picks up for